In every football season, there are some breakout stars and young talents on the horizon. Generally, a lot of hype and expectation are placed on their shoulders after every decent performance by the media, fans, and their peers. In some cases, this can propel them to new heights and success, or sometimes can provide the opposite. Hype around a player nowadays could generally curse them and stain their career for years to come, usually happening most famously with English talent. I don't know why, but that's just the case. However, today we're going to be covering the most famous overhyped football talents and wonder kids from over the years, putting them into one team in FIFA 19 career mode and seeing how they perform in one season. Let's get into it. And before we get into the team, by saying overhyped to some of the wonder kids doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad, just, they're getting a lot of attention and hype from the media and fans and all that at the current moment, and at the current moment when they were really hyped up. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad or hasn't reached their potential yet, like some of the wonder team, which I will explain, but let's get straight into the overhyped wonder kids. And we've put them all into Southampton for this experiment, as a lot of wonder kids have come out of Southampton over the years, and we might as well just put them there. It's a team we haven't used in an experiment before. And before we get into the video, make sure to slap a like on the video if you do go ahead and enjoy it. Subscribe down below for weekly FIFA 19 career mode content. Follow me on Twitter. Comment down below on any wonder kids I've missed out on. Hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And let's get straight into the team. Alright guys, just ignore all the loaned out players, but we're going to start off with this man, Freddie Adu. And just take a note, there are some players that aren't in FIFA, so I had to go ahead and create them. And we're going to start off with the American Freddie Adu, aka the next Pele. He was dubbed the next Pele by the media so many years ago, and yeah, just didn't really work out for him. We all know the story around this man, Freddie Adu. I had to go ahead and create him. He's not in FIFA 19. The last FIFA he was in was FIFA 14, and I had to just copy his stats from FIFA 14, put him into FIFA 19, and there he is. He's gone on to so many clubs in America, and just never took off. Freddie Adu was cursed by the next new Pele hype, and unfortunately, he couldn't fulfill his potential. He's way too overhyped by the media and all of America, and never turned out. We're on to our first Englishman on the list, and the first of many. It's Micah Richards, the right back and centre back. Played for Manchester City's early days and was really hyped around that time, as he got a few Premier League games in there, and just never really worked out for him. Went out on loan, and now he's at Aston Villa in the Championship. 30 years of age now, he's still going at it, but Micah Richards, never really worked out for him. And another player that it never really worked out for, Jack Rodwell, started off at Everton, and his career just went down ever since he moved to Manchester City for a big fee. Never got game time, went out to Sunderland, and the hype got to Jack Rodwell, and he never recovered from it. He did well at Everton, and then Man City just never played him. He was very overhyped English wonder kid. Move on to Zakaria Bakali, the FIFA 14 wonder kid that had 90 potential. Was way overhyped, as the Belgians were killing it around then, and Zakaria Bakali was one of them, and he was 90 potential, and now look at him, he's 70 overall. Not doing too well for himself now. He's still playing in Belgium, but Zakaria Bakali never lived up to the hype. And we have another man, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now this one is one that he's not necessarily bad or anything. He can still live up to the hype. It's just a player that is currently really hyped up at the moment. It's Callum Hudson-Odoi, the 71 rated 17-year-old playing for Chelsea now. Obviously, he's getting a lot of starts for England, and he's starting recently for Chelsea as well. So Callum Hudson-Odoi has been hyped up lately. Doesn't mean he's bad, doesn't mean he's too overhyped. It just means Callum Hudson-Odoi has a lot of hype around him at the moment. I don't know if he's going to fulfill his potential. I don't know if he's going to live up to the hype, but he is an overhyped wonder kid at the moment. We move on to Hashim Mastor, a player that currently isn't in FIFA 19. He's playing in Greece. However, Hashim Mastor was an AC Milan wonder kid, was really hyped up in FIFA 15, got added in and had 88 potential, the Moroccan. He was Italian back then, he changed to Morocco and was the next big thing at AC Milan. Unfortunately, didn't pan out for him. He was on loan at Herenveen and Malaga and all that stuff. never really got game time, never really got going. Now he's in Greece, which aren't in FIFA, so he is not in FIFA anymore. We had to go ahead and create Hashim Mastor, but there he is, 20 years old now, 71 overall. Hopefully he can get his career back on track and move back into Europe. But yeah, another wonder kid, the hype just got to them, as well as Lucas Piazzon, another Chelsea wonder kid that, a Brazilian, got loaned out and was dubbed like the next Kaká and stuff. It was weird for Lucas Piazzon. He's now out on loan at Chievo Verona. He came on for Chelsea a few times around 2012, 2013, but never got the game time. Lucas Piazzon, unfortunately, still at Chelsea. And of course, with Brazilians, young Brazilians, they're definitely going to be hyped up. We move on to our backup goalkeeper for this team. It's going to be Bartolomej Dragowski, the Polish goalkeeper. Was introduced around FIFA 16 time and had a lot of potential, and now still doesn't really have that much potential nowadays, but he's playing out on Empoli, and I just had to find a backup goalkeeper, and this was kind of the first keeper that came to mind. It was like the best goalkeeper to get on FIFA 16 career mode, but now kind of hasn't really done much with his career, but he's still killing it, getting some game time at Empoli in Serie A. And if you want to talk about overhyped wonder kids, here he is, Bojan Krkic. I know you guys were waiting for this man to come on, and the Spaniard was at Barcelona. He's won the Champions League before with them, and he was dubbed the next Messi, or the Spanish Messi, by the media. And obviously that hasn't gone to plan, as he's now playing for Stoke City still in the Championship. Bojan Krkic, unfortunately for him, Spain couldn't get the best out of him. And literally the first thing you think of when you think of overhyped wonder kids, it's Bojan. Never lived up to the hype, never lived up to his potential, and unfortunately for Spain, wasn't there Messi. As we move on to the first Italian on this list, it's going to be Federico Macheda, the man that played for Manchester United, scored the winning goal against Aston Villa, I believe it was a team like that, at Old Trafford, and won a last-minute winner. We all know the goal I'm talking about. Federico Macheda was a really, really overhyped wonder kid, and after that goal, never really got much game time. The Italian went out on loan to English clubs, went to Italy, never really achieved the heights that people would think. And of course, with a young wonder kid playing at Manchester United, of course he'd have some hype around him, but he was just a little too overhyped and never really lived up to it. And we move on. The goalkeeper position was pretty hard. As we move on to Fraser Forster, he's going to be our starting goalkeeper. The Englishman was touted for big things. He had a good season a few seasons ago, but never really, lived up to it. It was hard to think of some overhyped goalkeepers, but Fraser Forster was definitely one of them for Southampton. He was killing it, and a lot of clubs were linked with him, but he just gone downhill ever since, really. And yet again, another overhyped wonder kid from recent years. It's going to be Renato Sanchez, the Portuguese midfielder who won the Euros with Portugal in 2016, was the next big thing for Benfica, made a move to Bayern, and yet again, never really lived up to it. Hasn't got the game time yet, but still 20 years of age. He can still turn his career around, and there was a lot of hype around the youngster a few years ago. Now it's kind of died down as well with his potential, but another man who couldn't live up to the hype, but still has time to fix things. As we move on to another created player, it is going to be Robinho. The Brazilian obviously played for Real Madrid, Man City, AC Milan, and was, the classic name Robinho, Brazilian. There's obviously going to be a lot of hype around him, and now 34, he's now playing in Turkey. We've gone ahead and created him just for this team, but Robinho, the Brazilian, definitely was really hyped up. Was a decent player for AC Milan, but just kind of went downhill ever since he turned 30. And we move on to the Norwegian Martin Odegaard. We all know him. He's famous for being that FIFA 15 wonder kid with massive potential. Signed for Real Madrid, of course, from Norway, and never really lived up to it. He's out on loan at Vitesse now. The Norwegian still has some level of hype around him, still playing some games for Norway, but doing really well for Vitesse this season. So who knows, maybe he'll get some game time under Zidane at Real Madrid next season. But Martin Odegaard, yet another one kid that was hyped up a lot, still hasn't lived up to the hype, but he still has time to fix it. But Ravel Morrison, yet again another Englishman, he's still only 25 years of age. We all know what happened to him. He was really hyped up in England, played for the Manchester United youth team alongside the likes of Paul Pogba and Lingard, and then went out to a bunch of clubs like Lazio, West Ham. Now he's out in Sweden at Östersund. Still only 25 years of age, but 76 rated, 25. Ravel Morrison was touted for such big things, and Sir Alex called him like he was the best youth player he's ever seen or something like that. So he got Sir Alex's praise, but didn't live up to the hype. And yet again, another Englishman, Andy Carroll, killed it for Newcastle, made a big money move to Liverpool, and yeah, career went downhill from there. Went to West Ham, and yeah, he's just been hurt by injuries a lot. Hasn't really got his career up and running since the big move. And the target man Englishman is 29. So yeah, definitely a player that was overhyped in his time, never lived up to it. Then we move on to the Brazilian Adriano. We had to go ahead and create him. 36 years old now. He's still applying his trade in Brazil, but now he's 36 years of age. He was playing for Inter Milan. He was playing for Inter Milan and was killing it for them. And then, you know, mental health issues with Adriano. I think someone in his family died, and then he went to jail for a bit. Adriano was touted for big things. Unfortunately, he lost his love for football and just never really cared since then. But unfortunately for Adriano, he was very hyped up. He just didn't live up to the hype for many different reasons, but still was a great player for Inter Milan. We move on to Vinicius Jr., another Brazilian, and he has a lot of hype around him at the moment, getting a lot of game time in at Real Madrid now, and hopefully he lives up to the hype right now. And yeah, these two, Sancho as well, these two have got a lot of hype around them this season. Hopefully they can live up to it in the seasons to come. Vinicius Jr. and Jadon Sancho have like 90 plus potential in this year's game, so hopefully they can live up to the hype, but they do have a lot of hype around them from fans this season, especially this Englishman Jadon Sancho is getting some decent game time for England. And we move on to the next two Englishmen. It's going to be Phil Jones and Jack Wilshere, that generation of English talent that never really took off. They were hyped up for England around a few years ago, and now they've just kind of dropped off. I don't know how Phil Jones is still playing for Manchester United, still doing those weird faces in game. And then Jack Wilshere, obviously injuries hampered him, kind of like Phil Jones as well, and now he finds himself at West Ham. That generation of English wonder kids that never really took off, and obviously because they're English had a lot of hype around them. Lucas Paquetá, another Brazilian that has a lot of hype around him this season, kind of like Vinicius Jr. and Sancho. We don't really know if they're going to live up to that hype, but still, Lucas Paquetá has a lot of hype around him, and we've gone and included him in this team, a new wonder kid in FIFA 19. And now we have Adnan Januzaj, the man that had a lot of hype around him around 2014, 2013. The Belgian, obviously, now sees himself at Real Sociedad, but of course, a young man for Manchester United back then under David Moyes. He was the saving grace that season and never really lived up to the hype from there. Got sold by Manchester United, and Januzaj not really doing that great for himself considering he was at United. And we continue the Brazilian/English trend in this team. We're moving on to Alexandre Pato, the man that was killing it for AC Milan back in the day. Had so much potential, so much hype, Alexandre Pato, and then just fell off from there. Didn't really kick off his career. He's still only 28 years of age, now finds himself in the Chinese Super League. But Alexandre Pato, another Brazilian with so much hype around him. The AC Milan fans loved him, and just unfortunately for him, never really lived up to it. We move on to the second Italian striker on this list. It's going to be Mario Balotelli. Still only 27-year-old, had so much hype around him in 2012. Around the Euros, he really announced himself at Euro 2012. 7 years ago, when he was only 20. I'm pretty sure he was like the top goal scorer of Euro 2012, something crazy like that. I just remember his double against Germany in the semi-final. That was... oh, the memories, man. Bringing back some good memories. But Balotelli was only 20 then, was killing it at the Euros in 2012 when Italy made it all the way to the final. And yeah, he hasn't really gotten back into the Italy team, was kicked out for a bit due to disciplinary issues. The Italy team and coach didn't really like his mentality, but he's made his way back into the team. He's found some new form in France, so maybe he can turn it around. But Mario Balotelli, another player that was hyped up so much, another Englishman in John Stones, still has time to live up to the hype. He's getting some decent game time for England, and especially at the World Cup, but he was definitely one kid that was hyped up so much. Ricardo Quaresma was dubbed as the next Ronaldo, the famously dubbed as better than Cristiano Ronaldo back when they were both wonder kids a few years ago. Ricardo Quaresma never really lived up to it, but still a very decent player. And then James Rodriguez, straight after the 2014 World Cup, he was hyped up so much after that performance for Colombia, especially after that beautiful left-footed volley goal against Uruguay in the round of 16. he was hyped up so much. Never really got the game time at Madrid. Now finds himself at Bayern Munich, but another player that was hyped so much. He's still a quality player, but just had so much love at the time. And that is going to be it for the Overhyped 11. They are going to be in one season of career mode. We're going to see how they perform together, see if the hype gets to their head, as this is probably the most hyped team in the league, as that is how they're going to line up 3-5-2, Pato and Balotelli up top. What a combination. Bojan Krkic, aka the next Messi, in the midfield. Then we have Rodriguez and Sanchez. Vinicius Jr. is going to be on the left, Quaresma on the right, Micah Richards, Jones and Stones in there as well. Sancho, Mastor, Odegaard and Morrison on the bench. Those names are just Wonderkids central down there. Makeda and Freddie Adu are going to be on the bench as well. Fraser Forster is going to be the backup goalkeeper for Dragaus. And then in the reserves, we have Lucas Paquetá, Januzaj, Piazzon, Wilshere, Robinho, Bakali, Adriano, Carroll, Hudson-Odoi, Rodwell, and James Gunn is just a Southampton player. Don't worry about him. But the Overhyped Wonderkids 11, that is how the Overhyped Wonderkids are going to line up this season. Let's see how they perform in FIFA 19 career mode in one season. And I have faith in the Overhyped Wonderkids. I think they can combine all their hype together and create maybe a top 10 finish, maybe push for Europa League spot, but that's pretty much it. Alright, the season is over for the Overhyped ones. Let's see how they performed in the Premier League. And look, by the looks of things, they've just survived by 3 points. They ended up finishing in 16th with 37 points, 3 points from relegation. Huddersfield, Bournemouth and Fulham all go down to the Championship. I thought they'd finish a bit higher, but unfortunately not for the Overhyped Wonderkids. The team was, let's say, too overhyped. And the Overhyped Wonderkids got knocked out of the FA Cup in round 4 to Derby County. And in the Carabao Cup, got knocked out in round 2 to relegated Huddersfield. We're going to take a look at some of the top performers in the side. We're going to see who were the standout players for this team, if there are any. We're going to see who got the most performances. It was Phil Jones with the most appearances, He ended up getting 2 goals. John Stones and Rodwell in there with a lot of appearances, but James Rodriguez did pretty well. 34 games, 11 goals. Micah Richards ended up getting injured. Alexandre Pato only got 2 goals. Lucas Paquetá ended up getting 3. Mario Balotelli, which is injured now, ended up getting 4 goals. Jadon Sancho got 22 games. Januzaj got 20 games and 2 goals. Carroll ended up getting 5 goals, which is pretty decent for him. Adriano, the Brazilian, ended up getting 3 goals. Vinicius Jr. got 2, as well as Ravel Morrison with 1, but otherwise, a lot of players getting a lot of game time. Even Freddie Adu getting 6 games in there for him. Good on him. Bojan ended up getting 5 games, and then the rest are pretty much loaned out players, plus Lucas Piazzon and Robinho with a few games in there. Callum Hudson-Odoi 0 game time, but ended up going up 4 overalls. That's FIFA career mode for ya. But the Overhyped Wonderkids, some Wonderkids that are yet to live up to the hype, some that never lived up to the hype. That has been the team, the Overhyped Wonderkids, all in one side, ended up just surviving the Premier League, guys. So that is going to be the end of the video. Let me know if you did enjoy it down below. Comment down below, hit like on the video, subscribe for some more FIFA 19 career mode content on the channel. Follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description. Turn on post notifications, all that good stuff. I've been BCHD. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the very next video.